Thank you to War Thunder for sponsoring this episode. Greetings! Welcome back to Minecraft. We're very quickly approaching 10,000 days in this world, and this entire time, I have been living here, in the base I built all the way back in episode 1. And it served me well, but it's got a couple of issues. It's super laggy for some reason, the item sorting for my storage is super slow and requires me to sit around and wait forever, and navigating it is a complete pain since I decided to build the storage across 3 different levels, like a moron. So today, using all the knowledge and experience I've gained over the last 10,000 days, I will be giving my base the ultimate upgrade. Building a highly advanced storage system for every item in the game, a bulk storage capable of holding hundreds of millions of items, and an entire new base large enough to hold not just all of this storage, but also any new machines or utilities I may want to add in the future. And holy crap, does this upgrade change everything about how I'm gonna play this game going forward. God, I need to get a job. Anyway, let's go. To get started, first I have to figure out what's causing all the lag I was experiencing. I was pretty sure it was all the unlocked hoppers in the storage system, so I started by tearing them all out to see what kind of difference that would make. Okay, well, removing the hoppers didn't really do much. It's a tad bit better, but it's still nowhere near where we want it to be. My second thought was that maybe my mob switch was causing the lag due to the hundreds of shulkers. So I repositioned the ender pearl chunk loading them, making all the shulkers lazy loaded, which is less laggy than being fully loaded like they were before, but this didn't solve the problem much either. I then slaughtered all my villagers since they're the most laggy entities in the game, and still no fix. Running out of ideas here, I decided the mobs in my mob vault might somehow be a big part of the problem, so I killed them all too. But don't worry, I kept the rare ones like the brown panda and of course the blue axolotls. And I plan on kind of redoing this project in the future on a much larger scale anyway, so don't feel too bad about me erasing all this hard work. I certainly didn't, as I slaughtered everyone. Okay, there we go. That's the entire vault cleared. And with all these extra mobs cleared out, the lag still wasn't fixed. And only after all this bloodshed did I realize my simulation distance was on 32 chunks when it should have been on 16. Changing this fixed the lag pretty much instantly. Nice one, moron. Now, even though that simple setting made the biggest difference, the storage system still was causing a lot of lag too due to the hoppers. So my upgraded one will have the ability to lock and unlock every hopper in it, which will solve that issue. Okay, now that our lag issue's fixed, let's start plotting out the area that our new base is gonna take up. And I didn't know this until recently, even though I have a massive factory for the stuff, but normal resin can be insta-mined with just your hand, which kind of makes it the perfect temporary block material for planning stuff out, even better than netherrack really. Well, assuming you have a giant factory like me. So I grabbed up a ton of the stuff and plotted out the area that my base will take up. Alright, done, and now we can start building the ultimate upgrade. To begin, first I want to build all the complex redstone. This new storage system replacing the old one is a prototype designed by me, with components mainly sourced from the Storage Tech Discord, and I'm using this as an opportunity to learn how these complex systems work firsthand. Then in the future, I can build a truly perfect storage when I begin to work on the mega base. Yeah, this storage isn't even my final one, which you may find hard to believe by the end of this video. I started the build without building a cube loader machine and organizing all the materials for it, because I thought, well, my base is right here. Do I really need to organize everything, or can I just grab it from my base? But I quickly realized I was missing a bunch of stuff, so I stopped and set up a CLM. I collected all the materials needed for the system, and now I can actually start the build. Now, in order to build a complete storage system, I'm gonna have to set up item filters for every single block in the game. That's thousands of items. So my plan here is to build as much of the system as I can, and then stop when I get to a layer where I need to set up the filters. Then I'll set up a layer of filters, build up to the next layer where I need more filters, so on and so forth. So first, let's build up the bulk section. Each one of these slices here holds 1.84 million items. And because I like to make everything super overkill, I'm making the bulk big enough to house way more item variants than I probably will ever have or need. But screw it, it's my system. This part alone took me just over 9 hours, but since each slice is identical to the one next to it, the grind was pretty chill and easy, and I managed not to break anything. At least, I think. With the bulk section complete, I started on the main chest halls, which was significantly faster for these first few layers. Okay, I've built up as much of the system as I can for now, and the next step is to fill in each filter on each layer. And then once I finish a layer, I build up to the next layer where I have more filters, fill in all those filters, and so on until the full system is done. I've already got the first row of items here, and I've ordered them in these shulker boxes in the order that they need to be sorted. So I'll just make boxes like this for each of the 4 sides and then load them into the system. But before getting any more items, I need to make a unique item filter that I can destroy once the system is complete, because getting any extra of those items in the system will instantly break all the filters. So it's a one-time use. So I'll use golden nuggets, and I just gotta name all the items. What do I name it? Hubert. And I'll preload all the filters with them. Now I just need to load in the first layer of items. And with those filters set up, we just got 4 more to go. Now, obviously, I already have a vast majority of these items available to me, so the process of gathering and organizing them before putting them in the system wasn't too difficult. But with the items that I was missing, yeah, these were gonna take some actual effort. Starting with copper. I wanna sort every copper variant there is, even the redundant ones like the waxed oxidized set. Literally no reason for this to exist, by the way, but whatever. So I started by picking out what I already had in storage, and then set up what I needed to get on the nether roof so they could oxidize. And then I just sat around and waited. Peak gameplay right here. After waiting for way too long and moving some things around to make them age faster, I finally got 2 of every copper variant in the game. Oh yeah, I need 2 of each item, by the way. 1 for the actual filter, and then 1 to put on display. Now with the copper done, next I need frog lights. I already had the ochre frog lights from a farm that I built a while back, so all I need to do is get the other 2 frog types into this farm. I easily found a warm frog in the nearby mangrove swamp, which was nice, and this just leaves me with the cold variant, which I had to manually breed up in the north, which was a tedious process, moving them back and forth. But once I got them in the farm, I had my frog lights, and we were ready to go. Next, I needed the tall fern and the tall grass item. These can only be found in villages, and literally can't be obtained any other way. So why I'm wasting an entire spot on them in my system is a mystery, but I said I'm sorting everything, so I'm sorting everything. Finding 2 of each of these is simple. I just need to search every chest in every village I come across, but it still took a really long time. Needless to say, I will not be sorting these again in my next system. Literally a complete waste of time, but I feel accomplished, so whatever. Next, I had to grab some ominous keys, which was easy enough, just farming some trial chambers, but I had to get more than just 2 because I also need 2 heavy cores, which honestly I thought was going to be a complete pain to get, but the first one took like 3 or 4 tries, and then I immediately got a second one back to back. Best luck I've ever had. But basically the strategy was to just camp 1 trial chamber next to my base to farm the keys, and then I would just clear out vaults in 1 chamber at a time across the world until I got everything. God, I wish these vaults would reset though. Next up, we've got mob heads. Obviously, I've got plenty of wither skeleton skulls, and I've got a couple dragon heads, so I just needed skeleton, zombie, creeper, and piglin heads. Skeleton heads can be found sitting around ancient cities, so I was able to grab a couple of them there, but in order to get the other 3, I have to blow up those mobs using a charged creeper. So using a boat, I trapped some creepers and the other mobs. I trapped a piglin in the nether, and now we just gotta wait for a thunderstorm, which is probably gonna be a while. So while we wait, I need to get a bunch of nautilus shells. I was surprised I didn't already have 2 of them somewhere for the system, but I don't just need 2 for the item itself, but also an additional 16 for 2 conduits. So I decided the best way to get this was to go to a nearby village, kidnap some villagers, make them into librarians, and get the best enchantments needed to make the ultimate fishing rod. And now I just need to fish and fish and fish. Okay, this is taking way too long. To make this process less tedious, I grabbed a bunch of materials and set up a small fishing farm in the pond next to my base. And this thing's actually pretty useful. I just hold down right click with my fishing rod and wait for the farm to run. And waiting around to get these shells gave me plenty of time to play some War Thunder, the most expansive vehicle war game ever made. Available for free now on PC, consoles, and mobile. Destroy your enemies with over 2,500 tanks, planes, helicopters, and ships from 10 major nations. With vehicles all the way from the 1920s to modern day. War Thunder is one of the most realistic war games of our time, boasting highly detailed graphics, authentic sound effects, and my favorite aspect of realism being that you don't win by just shooting randomly at enemies until they explode, but by aiming for specific parts of their vehicles, since every vehicle in War Thunder is modeled down to individual crucial components such as engines, fuel tanks, weapons, and even the crew, all individually susceptible to being disabled or destroyed, which I think is pretty freaking awesome. And regardless of your gaming hardware, you can count on War Thunder's in-house developed Dagor engine to provide you with a crisp, smooth gameplay experience. So download War Thunder today and join the over 95 million main players in epic PvP battles for completely free on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, or mobile. New and returning players who haven't played in at least 6 months can use my links in the description and pinned comment to receive a massive bonus pack across PC and consoles containing 100,000 Silver Lions, premium vehicles, the exclusive vehicle decorator Eagle of Valor, and 7 days of premium accounts. But be quick, because this is only for a limited time. Thanks again to War Thunder for sponsoring this video, and now we've got all the Nautilus shells we could ever need. So I'll craft up my 2 conduits, and I've got Hearts of the Sea left over because they have a very high spawning chance, might even be 100% in buried treasures, which I've found a handful of over the last 10,000 days. With the ocean stuff done, now we can move on to Dragon's Breath. This stuff is completely useless, but it's easy enough to obtain in the end. I just need to respawn the dragon, and hopefully she doesn't destroy my Wither Roast farm and release the Wither while I'm fighting. That would be really annoying. With the Dragon's Breath done, we've just got 2 more little things to get. The remaining armor trims I'm missing, and turtle scoots. The scoots were really time consuming, but easy enough to grab. Just breed up 2 turtles, wait for the eggs to hatch, feed the babies a ton of seagrass, and boom, turtle scoots acquired. Most of the trims weren't too bad either. I just used the wiki to remind myself where they spawned at, and then went and picked them up from those locations. Which just leaves me with the trims located in the buried ruins, which I just have to dig through with the little paintbrush, which you would think would be easy enough, but for the love of God, I can't get the 4th trim to save my life. I don't know if it's just more rare than the other 3, but the Wayfinder armor trim simply would not spawn. But eventually, after like a million bajillion tries, I finally found it. Oh my God, finally, dude. Finally! I am never digging through suspicious sand or gravel again. Fuck this game mechanic. Now, with all the items in the game in my possession, well, at least the 64 stackable ones, we can finally finish putting together the rest of the system. Okay, finally. The storage should be complete. Now we just gotta test it. I'll take a shulker box of smooth stone to test the bulk system. Just gotta drop it in the top here. And now that shulker box should pop up right here and replace this powdered snow. Oh, yes, it works. Let's go. Now I'll take an ender pearl, which isn't currently sorted anywhere in the system, put it in this chest, and it should end up right here at the end if everything is working correctly and there's no hoppers with empty slots. Boom, here it is. Okay, nice. So now I should be good to stress test the entire system. I'll start with the leftover building materials that have been slowly building up here throughout this construction process. And if everything goes well, we can move my entire old storage into this new one. And the system works perfectly. Every item is in its proper location, with only items I haven't set up any sorting for yet, making it to the chest at the end. And now there's just one more thing I need to do before moving all the items from the old base. Even though this new system is way faster than the old one, sorting thousands of items still takes some time, and it's not very efficient to waste that time by standing around when I could be working on another project. So I need to chunk load the entire system so that it works even when I'm really far away. Normally, this is done with a nether portal based chunk loading array, but in the past, I've had some issues setting those up, and because I'm too big of a to try again, I opted for an ender pearl based chunk loader instead. So I grabbed some soul sand, some glass, and got to work setting it up. With it built and all the pearls set, I should be good to go, except I'm not, and you'll see why soon. But thinking I was good to go, I started moving everything from my old base into the new one. With the moving process going smoothly, something finally happened that I've been waiting for the last 10 hours. A thunderstorm. Yeah, remember when I captured those mobs to get their heads for the system? Literally this entire time, a thunderstorm hasn't happened until right now. Oh crap, the lightning broke the boat he was in though, which is not good. Oh wait, if I fly away, is he gonna despawn now? Oh no, I need wood. Okay, please don't despawn. I gotta be quick. Damn it, he definitely despawned. Shit. Okay, don't strike this one, strike this one. Come on. Yes, yes, yes. When it shines like that, it means it's about to get struck, right? Why is it edging me? Come on. For the love of God, come on. Yes. Okay, get in this boat. Good. You get in this boat. Good. One more. I just need one more. Yes, come on, bro. Finally. Oh, get in the boat. Oh, thank God. Okay, I'll just leave them for now, and I'll just wait for the storm to end, and also I really want to finish sorting all these items. It should be done in just a minute. With the item sorting finished, I blew up the mobs whose heads I needed and loaded them into the system. But I forgot about the piglin head, and I'm done waiting around for thunderstorms, so for now, I'm just gonna forget about that one. All right, nice. All my items have been moved, and everything works as it should, but while moving, I found a few things that I need to change. Number one, I need to extend my bulk storage even more. Originally, I didn't plan on storing most of these 16 colored items back here, but I've got quite a lot of wool, concrete, and concrete powder overflowing the normal chests, so I kind of need it. Number two, I need to replace the input system. While waiting for the items to get sorted, I found 2 storage system components in the Storage Tech Discord that will remove the need for me to manually separate item types like this into these chests, and will instead allow me to just dump my entire inventory into a single box and let the machine do all the work. And then number 3, I actually do need a nether portal based chunk loading array. I thought I could get away with avoiding it, but ender pearls only process entities in the chunk that the ender pearl is in, instead of a 3x3 chunk area like I originally thought when I was setting the thing up. Turns out only nether portal loaders do that. But this is probably a good thing because this will give me the experience needed for the perfected system in the future. So let's knock out these changes, starting with extending the bulk storage. With the bulk storage extension complete, I solved my little overflow problem and moved on to destroying the ender pearl array. First, I gotta get rid of all these pearls. That was cool. Now let's tear this entire thing down. With the pearl array removed, I grabbed all the materials needed for the new input system, and collecting everything was so much easier with this new system. Just simply running back and forth down a single hallway instead of flying around between 3 different levels like before. And once I got everything I needed, I built up the new input system. And now with the new input complete, the system is finished. Here's how the whole thing works. I can turn all the hoppers on and off with this note block here. When the hoppers are unlocked, I just input my items here, hit this note block to break the shulker box, and start the sorting. The shulker boxes are processed here, which unloads them at hopper speed, so the system doesn't miss anything. The items flow down the water stream into these chest halls. When a chest is full, the item continues to the shulker box loaders back here, and any full shulkers get sent to the top of the bulk storage to be stored. I'm still missing, of course, the junk loader and the unstackable item sorters, which I'm gonna build later after we do some decorating, but for now, the system is at least operational. And before we can get to any decorating and actually building the base, we need to build the base foundation. As you can see, this storage system is kind of high up in the air, but don't worry, this was intentional. The plan now is to build a foundation around it that steps down in sections before reaching the ground. This is so in the future, I can develop different gardens, farms, builds, or whatever I want on these steps to blend the base in with the surrounding city, kind of making it the center focal point. The foundation will be themed the same as these retaining walls I've already built down here, so we just need a ton of these blocks in order to build it, all of which are relatively easy to get. So I set up a new cube loader machine, and let's get to work getting the materials. And the first thing I need is 31 shulker boxes of grass blocks. Although I'm pretty sure if I don't have enough, I could just substitute with dirt. So let's see how much we've got. Oh, we've got a good bit. All right, we'll take 18, 26, okay. 27, 28, 29, and 31-ish. Good enough. Okay. Now next we need 16 boxes of polished andesite. And actually just adding up all of the andesite items in general, we need 36 boxes of andesite in total. I've got 4 polished and 2 not polished, so that's 6. Time to go mining for more. I found a new big open cave with a lot of exposed andesite and diorite I could craft into andesite, so I set up a beacon and mined up all that I would need. Okay, I think this should be enough. Let's craft up all the andesite, and we'll craft all the andesite variants that we need. All right, and that is all the andesite items. So next I need 15 boxes of stone, which I've got plenty of, and 7 boxes of smooth stone. So we've got 3 here. We'll get 4 extra normal stone and throw it in the furnace array. All right, there we go. That's stone and smooth stone. And I need smooth stone slabs as well. With the basic andesite and stone items collected, I decided I wanted to make kind of a gradient for the foundation so it would appear darker as it got lower to the ground. So I grabbed some stone bricks, mud, deep slate, and basalt in order to do that. Then with everything collected, it was time to build the foundation. I started with a simple outline to kind of give myself an idea of the shape of the build. And once I settled on something I was happy with, I got to work building. Starting off, I didn't think this would take too long. The foundation is really just a big box at the end of the day. So, I mean, how long could it possibly take? But spoiler alert, this took forever. But the end result is absolutely worth it. Okay, pretty much done with the foundation. All that's left is the grass part up here. But first, I want to set up beacon pylons so that I have the beacon effects no matter where I am in the base. To do this, I'll start by placing beacons at the bottom of the world because the beacon buff extends upward infinitely, but only downwards by like 30 blocks or so. And then I'll build the pylons. And while setting up the pylons, we did it! We reached 10,000 days in this world. Wow! So crazy. Anyway, wrapping up those final beacon pylons, the foundation was finally complete. Okay, next. Now that the foundation is complete, we're left with this area under the base. And I don't want to just do nothing with this area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this place into a kind of industrial core for the city. While everything above it will be very clean, sophisticated, and elegant, down here will be more rugged, harsh, and mechanical. I'm thinking a large mine in the center that goes all the way to bedrock and then connects with the quarry over here, access routes through these waterways to the outside, and a massive underground train station of sorts that'll connect to a large tunnel leading to a bridge that'll eventually go towards the mega base in the center of everything. I won't be doing all of this today, obviously, but what I do want to do today is figure out what to do with the remnants of our old base here. I don't want to completely remove it since it was my home for so long. I'd feel kind of bad. I've lived here for 10,000 days. That's like 27 Minecraft years. And I mean, just look at what we've accomplished while we lived here. The dam, the statue of me, the cave base, the resin factory, the happy guest farm, all things I've done while living at this base. And so, after some deliberating, I ultimately decided to leave the base in ruin. Buried under our new base, and completely forgotten as we move towards our true goals in this world. Anyway, now I need to build the portal-based chunk loader that I mentioned earlier. Now, the whole reason I didn't want to do this in the first place was because, honestly, I'm just lazy, and I didn't want to deal with the potential headache of trying to link together a bunch of different nether portals. So, to make sure I learn exactly how to do this correctly, I'll be building my own chunk loader from scratch. Well, I'll be using a design that I found in the Technical Minecraft Discord for the actual single chunk loader itself, and I've used this in the past for things like the nether mob switch, but for connecting them all together and making sure I can turn them on and off with a single push of a button, I'll be figuring all that out myself. So first, I need to build a normal nether portal up here that I can use to personally travel in and out of the nether. So I set one up, hoping its size wouldn't cause too many problems when building the loading array. And boom, new portal. Next, I surveyed the chunks below the storage to figure out which chunks I would need to load for the system to work, and this is the layout I need to follow. Everything in the green will be fully processed, including the item's entities, so they can move freely through the water streams. Everything in the yellow will have its redstone processed, which is obviously needed just for the system, and then the red blocks will be lazy loaded, which is useless for the system. But the entire system fits snugly like this. And now that I know what to load, I just need to make sure I can link all the portals correctly. So I started digging down so I could set up the portals. Oh yeah, another thing. A lot of chunk loading arrays like this will be built in the sky above the storage system, but I'm gonna build mine at the bottom of the world instead because I don't want it to be in the way. I think people build them in the sky just because it's easier a lot of the time to make sure they don't conflict with other nether portals, but building it underground works just the same. And I didn't want to just dig out a couple rooms just large enough for the portals. I wanted a huge open space so I could decorate it down the line, which means a lot of deep slate mining. To do this as quickly as possible, one of my Twitch chatters suggested I use a wither to mine for me. Oh yeah, by the way, I stream both on my YouTube and Twitch sometimes. I play Minecraft and other variety games too, so make sure you follow me there if you want to catch a stream. Anyway, using a wither, I can mine these big hallways by forcing it to break blocks as it tries to murder me. And the best part about this is these blocks drop, allowing me to get a ton of deep slate instead of having to mine it manually. I wish I knew about this trick a lot sooner. I could have saved myself a lot of time. Anyway, after a decent chunk of wither mining, I had more than enough deep slate for the time being, and I wanted to speed things up a little. So I set up a TNT tunnel borer to clear out the rest of the area. With that area cleared out, I went ahead and decorated the floor to outline the chunks that I wanted to load. And now I should be good to go to start setting up the array. First, I need to make sure all the portals are linked together properly. As we know, 1 block in the nether is 8 blocks in the overworld. 1 chunk is 16 by 16 blocks, which means a 2 by 2 square in the nether is equivalent to an entire chunk in the overworld. So, by finding a coordinate that is perfectly divisible by 8, and then seeing which quadrant of the chunk that block is in, I can find the exact chunk in the nether. Then, as long as I build the overworld portal in the center vertically like this, but on the bottom half horizontally, I should always be able to match 1-to-1 with the portal built in the same way in the nether, which is exactly what I was able to do. Now, following these rules, I don't even have to calculate each individual coordinate. I can just count how many chunks I need to go, build up the portals as I need, and voila, all the portals are linked correctly. First try. I don't know what I was freaking out about, this was not that hard. And because they are so far underground, just above bedrock, they don't interfere with my main base portal at all. So now all that was left to do was build the chunk loaders on top of each portal. After verifying each chunk loader was working, all that was left to do now was to wire them all together, and then connect them to the main base to be turned on and off at will. To do this, I started by linking all the loaders together with a line of powered rails and observers. At each chunk loader, whenever a signal is received by this copper bulb, it either powers on or off, and activates or deactivates this comparator, turning the loader on or off. So all I need to do now is somehow get a signal down here from the base. I realized that when powering the system on or off, these repeaters at the end are just left open since it's the end. So by connecting a piston and some slime blocks to them, I can send a signal all the way down underground, activating the chunk loaders whenever the system is turned on, and then deactivating them when the system is off. So now when I hit this note block, the system turns on, all the hoppers are unlocked, and the chunk loaders start. And all my items will be sorted, no matter where I am in the world. Let's give that a quick test though. I will take all the materials I've been building with, throw them in here, and activate the storage. Now I should just be able to fly away. Hopefully it doesn't break. That would be bad. I flew away to the Mesa biome about 1,000 blocks away and waited a while for the process to finish. Okay, it's been like 20 minutes or so. We should be good, I think. Well, I don't see any items flowing, which means I think we should be good. Yep, nothing in there, nothing in there, and I think we're good. It is working. Now, it's finally time to build the full base to cover up this mess. To begin, first, of course, I have to collect all the materials. Starting off with 10 shulker boxes of granite, which I already had in storage. Then I needed a ton more andesite, which I had completely used up in the foundation. So I headed back to that cave from earlier to get some more. Then I needed some gray concrete for the floor, a bunch of stone stuff, sea lanterns, spruce wood, quartz blocks. You know what? You get the idea. I got all the blocks that I needed. Okay, that's everything for the actual base. Now we just need to build it. So first, I'm getting kind of annoyed flying back and forth between this thing and up top. So let me build an entrance up there real quick. Punch a hole in the floor here. I'll build out kind of an extension here. And then to get down, I'll make another one right here. Some hay bales to break the fall. All right, there we go. That'll make navigating here a little bit easier. And now with that done, it's finally time for the fun part. Because the base is so big, I decided to start with the inside details first so that I could build the unstackable item sorters up here on the second floors. And the theme here was pretty simple. Just make everything look as fancy as humanly possible. And well, I think I did a pretty good job. Okay, that's the central interior decorating done, and now we finally have space to build the unstackable item sorters. So let's get started on that next. I'll be using a copper golem system designed by Cubic Meter to sort my unstackables, and it's pretty quick and easy to set up. Okay, that's the unstackable sorters done. Well, almost done. I gotta add copper golems to the top to make them actually work. But first I need to get all the filter items for the chests, which is a lot of stuff because each slice here sorts multiple items, most of which are not that bad. I just have to craft up a bunch of stuff, with pretty much the only exception being the mace. I had good luck getting those 2 heavy cores before for the system, but this time it took a bit longer. But I finally got it, and with all the filter items in place and the copper golem summoned, the sorters should work now. I just gotta hook them up to the rest of the system. Punch a hole in the floor here, so we can make a tube that comes up from the end there. All right, now we'll give the storage a final test, and we should be good. While the test ran, I added some additional details to the base. All right, and the unstackable storage seems to be working good. There's a couple things I don't have sorted, like all the potions in the game, because I didn't want to bother, collecting every single potion in the game right now. So I'll probably add on to this a little bit later, but until I really need it, this is good enough for now. Now we just got to finish building up the entire base. First, let's start with finishing the details up top here. There's just a couple more things I need to add to wrap this up. Okay, now we're done with the inside details. This looks so sick. We got all the unstackables. I can run fast still on the soul soil. In the middle here, I kind of upgraded the input system. I put some shulker box unloaders here for some common supplies that I always use. So I'll always have access to like extra fireworks and stuff. We got my dog. Hello. And I spruced up the entrances on the left and right sides too, so I can walk up and down the stairs. Now, before we start the outside details, we got the bulk storage hall here, which is really simple. It's just rows of lamps and gray concrete so that whenever a slice of the chest hall is activated, the lamps will light up and you can see like which slice is currently being loaded. All right, that's the bulk storage all decorated. This looks so much better. Here, I'll throw in some ender chests so I just have some access whenever I'm loading up for stuff. All right, and now let's get started with the outside of the base, starting again with the bulk section since it's so big. Okay, that's the backside done. We still got the same kind of like fundamental style as the old base, but obviously significantly upgraded. And this looks sick. And that's probably the hardest part since it's so big. Now we got to do the front side. Okay, that's the front done. Now we just got to do the inside details, mainly on the sides here, and then we'll get to the top. Okay, that wraps up the inside. Got all the pillars done. And now finally, to finish our new base, I just got to do the top here. When I finished upgrading the base, I was pretty tired of playing this game, as this was a shit ton of grinding, so I didn't play for a few days while editing this video, but near the end of my editing, I would hop on every few hours and chip away at some of the final details for the base. Most notably, in the underground area here, I have removed all of the dirt and grass down here, and now have more in storage than I will probably ever need, at least for a while. I also installed a little on and off switch for the nether portal here, just a nice little quality of life feature, because it was getting annoying having the portal sound effect play whenever I was running back and forth. And then finally, as a final little touch, I built some stairways connecting from the second floor here, where the unstackable item sorters are, to the top of the base here. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do with this space up here yet. Maybe a small map room or something? I don't really know. But with this new base, the possibilities are endless. And now I can get to work expanding the city. Thanks again to War Thunder for sponsoring this video. Don't forget to download the game for free, whether you play on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, or mobile, and use my links in the description and pinned comment to get access to the massive bonus pack where new and returning PC and console players who haven't played in at least 6 months will receive premium vehicles and other valuable rewards that you definitely won't want to miss out on. And remember, it's a limited time only, so be quick. And also, subscribe to my channel or I'm killing my dog, and it'll be your fault.